I really want, I mean, it is so important to get really basic and really basic humanity stuff, team human, non-human, when it comes to these immigration cases. There's any number of policy debates about immigration. Obviously, I am on the very much left of immigration, by which I mean everybody that lives here now and has lived here should be immediately granted status, citizenship, period. Crossing the border should not be a criminal offense. Should be, if anything, a minor civil one. Should be totally decriminalized. The United States, as well as, by the way, the Europeans, should follow all international law that they have signed up to on refugees. And more broadly, we need to address the security state and climate policies that are driving so much accelerated migration across the world. There's still going to be borders. And in fact, many countries, as of now, and in fact, many countries on the receiving end of, as an example, U.S. foreign policy, are quite interested in how to have a open, fluid relationship with the rest of the world in terms of travel, trade, commerce, and exchange. But they actually would like their sovereignty to be respected by U.S. foreign policy, as an example. So I say this because these debates can get very abstract and very, very quickly in ways that really have nothing to do with the debates that are taking place and the urgent response to what is happening from this administration and from ICE right now. This is, again, if you think that this is acceptable, if you support that raid that is putting children in shelters or relying on strangers for food and clothing or whatever else, that really is, I mean, this is a deeper version. I don't mean like this shouldn't be partisan. It is clearly partisan. And in fact, maybe it should have been more partisan because Democratic leaders helped set the stage for this through their own policy sets. But this is human or not. If you support this, you are not a fully paid up member of the human race. And I wanted to highlight, and again, that is not every single policy issue that you could have about immigration. That one is, to be really clear. And this one also is. This story, I mean, I'm sorry. I actually have some hesitation about sometimes sharing stories that are just absolutely, depressing, frankly. I actually think there's some job that we have here to engender a little bit of a sense of hope and possibility, even as we cover all of this stuff. This story is just horrific, just awful. It's just a documentation of the human cruelty of the Trump administration and ICE. An Iraqi man who was born in Greece came to the United States as a child and was apparently never properly documented. 6 months old. I don't know.
Sneaky.
Yeah, very sneaky. Grew up here, worked, never caused any problems. Nothing. He was deported to Iraq. The man is an American. He doesn't speak Arabic. I don't think he'd ever even been to Iraq before, let alone live there. Well, this man died because he wasn't able to access insulin for his diabetes. This is just pure, raw, uncut human cruelty. And again, anybody who would defend this is not human. I want to make, because again, I keep wanting to make that distinction. You might hear some people say, well, I got a different idea about borders than you, or I have some different thoughts about X, Y, and Z. And again, I am of the school that the left in general needs to be able to argue effectively, hear different viewpoints, and so on. Not because of persuasion, but frankly because of how the project is branded. But this stuff is outside of the bounds of human. Again, these policies, whatever ICE person did this has a death on their hands. The Trump administration has a death on their hands.
The chain of command here, and anybody who touched this should be exposed personally and, facing trials for the rest of their life.
Just obscene. Here is a video of this man who died.
Sir, what are you doing here?
Give me Aldaoud,
Jimmy Aldaoud. I was deported 2.5 weeks ago.
Speak up, please.
I've been in the United States since 6 months old, you know, and just 2.5 weeks ago, immigration agent pulled me over, said I'm going to Iraq, and I refused. I said I've never been there. I've been in this country my whole life, you know, since pretty much birth. I missed birth by 6 months, and they refused to listen to me. There was an Agent Kamaj. The Department of Homeland Security is located on 333 Mont Elliott, Detroit, Michigan 48207. Agent Kamaj, I'm not sure about the other one, if his name is Deets or what his name is, but they just wouldn't listen to me. They wouldn't let me call my family, nothing. They just said, you're going to Iran, and your best bet is to cooperate with us. That way, we're not going to chain you up, or we'll put you on our commercial flight. I begged them. I said, please, I've never seen that country. I've never been there. However, they forced me. I'm here now. And I don't understand the language, anything. I've been sleeping in the street. I'm diabetic. I take insulin shots. I've been throwing up, sleeping in the street, trying to find something to eat. You know, I got nothing over here, as you can see. I was kicked in the back a couple days ago, claiming to get off the guy's property. I was sleeping on the ground. He claimed it's his property. You know, I begged him. I said, please, sir, I've never seen this country. I don't understand language. You know, nobody speaks English.
I don't. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't really know how to move from that. It's evil. It's evil. It's evil. I shouldn't swear. Sorry. It's evil. I don't. If you are defending that, you're not a human being. You need to save yourself. You need to access your humanity. And the people who did that, that really is some Nazi, I'm following orders stuff right there. The level of sociopathy and cruelty and grotesqueness of the policy set, and then the fact that, you know, those guys are probably just hitting a quota, getting a thrill, getting a kick out of the fact that, you know, whatever distracts them from their miserable lives, they can just go and just destroy somebody's life.
Go home to a cigar and Hannity.
Cigar and Hannity. It's absolutely disgusting. And it's outside. It's not human. I'll keep repeating it. There needs to be, and again, that is the stuff. That's one of the reasons also that I really do recommend that you specify that those rhetorical pushes can't be used on every single thing because they are here for certain things. That is Nazi stuff. That is totalitarian. That is murderous. That should be criminal. Every single word you could throw at it. And if there is an ability to prosecute the people who did this, absolutely. I mean, there needs to be, we talk about broader needs for like historical understandings of this country across the board and truth and reconciliation commissions. There's going to need to be a truth and reconciliation commission out of this.
Yes.
I mean, this is just terrorism directed from the state. And some of it will absolutely be implicated under, you know, the Obama administration too. There's no doubt about it.
The entire history of the Department of Homeland Security.
Which is a short history.
Yeah.
This is created in after September 11th. There is no broader institutional memory here. This is a, from the outset, national security state boondoggle that was created to securitize and surveil the Muslim population infinitely above and beyond the bounds of the small and surgical measures you need to take to protect from actual terrorism. And it's been weaponized now to terrorize immigrants across the board and undocumented people. And if you think that your life is safer because you support a policy that murdered this guy, then honestly, the most compassionate thing I could say for you is that you should immediately seek help. And I don't mean that as a polemic. I mean literally, you should seek help. If you experience actual physical anxiety because this man was in your country, you need help. You need urgent help. Not being polemical, not being sarcastic. I mean, as Joe Biden would say, literally, you need help.
I will also say this. If you're maxing out donations to Donald Trump, you need to be exposed by Joaquin Castro.
100%. And if you're the CEO of SoulCycle and
Equinox.
and Equinox, and I don't normally go for these things, but I'll tell you what, guys, cancel those memberships.
It hurt Uber.
And hurt Uber. And this guy comes out and he basically tries to, I'm summarizing, but essentially it's like, no, we're doing a Hamptons fundraiser for Trump because I'm a greedy SOB, not because I'm a bigot. I mean, and of course, frankly, being a greedy SOB leads to the same results as what we saw with this man in this indirect ways. Whereas if you are starving the state to give yourself more handouts and money, that's killing people.
Yep.
So it's the same thing. But I don't know. That just really, maybe we shouldn't start it that way because it's very hard for me to move from that. I'm sorry. But that is one that must be told. It's like those stories.
Share that story, guys.
There's clips when you see a police officer murder, it's like some of these things, people need to see them. They need to be real about this. This is what gets abstracted. It's about there's a border and what we need is a common sense approach. I mean, when, this is what is missing here, again, in a very specific conversation about these ICE policies and this approach, which really, frankly, I mean, just again, to put it in real terms, George W. Bush's immigration proposal, which was totally business friendly, had all sorts of onerous demands on people to document citizenship and was not a justice-oriented bill. And he did do a lot of very militant moves at the border. This would not happen under that immigration deal. Wouldn't happen. So you need to be very specific about the set of policies that you're supporting here. Okay.